First one to use the new machine here. Wow. All right, may we have roll call, please?
Mayor Harris,
Here.
Vice Mayor Cardoza,
Here.
Councilmember Bloomgarden, Councilmember Espandola,
Here.
and Councilmember Shaw.
Here.
All right, we just returned from closed session. City Attorney, can you please read the closed session items?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There was no reportable action taken in closed session, and for the record, the mayor was in attendance in the entire closed session. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any public comment from closed session items?
I'm so sorry. We've already, the mayor wasn't here when he called in.
Oh, that's
but
right.
He was there immediately,
Gotcha.
so I have to put it on the record. I just don't usually say things like that, but
Sure.
he was here.
Pretty sure
I
it
want the
cleared all
record
my
to be
warrants.
clear.
I don't know what's in my mind. No comment, public? All right. Mr. Palmer, how are you? Good to see you. Let's see. We have an invocation this evening by Mr. Granthi Sarwan Singh from the Sikh Temple. And I just got what you did. Thank you very much, sir. I read too high. Everybody can please rise, and then we were going to have the Pledge of Allegiance. Following this, led by Mr. Cameron Roth. Roth.
ਜਪੋ ਜੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਤੀਨੇ ਤਾਪ ਨਿਵਾਰਨ ਹਾਰਾ ਦੁਖ ਹੰਤਾ ਸੁਖ ਰਾਸ ਤਾਕੋ ਵਿਗਨ ਨਾ ਕੋ ਲਾਗੈ ਜਾਂ ਕੀ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਅੱਗੇ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਤੁਧ ਅੱਗੇ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਹਮਾਰੀ ਜਿਉ ਪਿੰਡ ਸਭ ਤੇਰਾ ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਸਭ ਤੇਰੀ ਵਡਿਆਈ ਕੋਈ ਨਾਉ ਨਾ ਜਾਣੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਦੋਏ ਕਰ ਜੋੜ ਕਰੋ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਤੁਧ ਭਾਵੈ ਤਾਣੈ ਰਾਸ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਇੱਕ ਓਂਕਾਰ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। श्री भगवती जी सहाय वार श्री भगवती जी की पातशाही 10वें प्रथम भगवती सिमर कै गुरु नानक लेते आए फिर अंगद गुर ते अमरदास रामदास होए सहाय अर्जन हरगोबिंद नु सिमरो श्री हर राय श्री हर कृष्ण ध्याईऐ जिस जिठै सब दुख जाए तेग बहादुर सिमरिए घर नौ निधावै धाए साहब थे होए सहाय 10वें पातशाह श्री गुरु गोबिंद सिंह जी महाराज साहब थे होए सहाय दसों पातशाहों की आत्मक जोत स्वरूप श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी के पाठ दर्शन दीदारां का ध्यान तर खालसा जी साहिब बोलना जी। गुरु साहिब जी के 5 प्यारे 4 साहिबजादे 40 मुक्ते हठियां जपियां तपियां नेमियां प्रेमियां जिन्हां नाम जपिया वंड छकिया देख चलाई तेग वाही देख के अंडट कीता तेरे भाणे नूं मिठा मिठा करके मन्निया तिन्हां प्यारियां सचियारियां की कमाई का ध्यान तर खालसा जी साहिब बोलना जी। गुरु साहब जी के 5 सच्चे पातशाह जिन्हां ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਸਿੰਘਣੀਆਂ ने धर्म हे ਸੀਸ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਬੰਦ ਕਟਵਾਏ ਖੋਪੜੀਆਂ ਤਰਵਾਈਆਂ ਚਰਖੜੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਚੜੇ ਤਨ ਆਰਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਚਰਾਏ ਧਰਮ ਹਿਤ ਕੁਰਬਾਨੀਆਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਧਰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਹਾਰਿਆ ਤੇਰੇ ਭਾਣੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਰਹੇ ਤਿਨਾਂ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਸਿੰਘਣੀਆਂ ਭੁਜੰਗੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਕਮਾਈ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਧਰ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਜੀ। ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਦੇ 5 ਤਖਤਾਂ ਸਰਬੱਤ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਧਾਮਾਂ ਬੁੰਗਿਆਂ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਧਰ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਜੀ। प्रथम सर्वत खालसा जी की अरदास है जी सर्वत खालसा जी को वाहिगुरु 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 चित आवे चित आवन का सदका सर्व सुख होवे जहाँ जहाँ गुरु खालसा जी साहिब तहाँ तहाँ रशिया रियायत देख तेग फतेह वर्द की पैज पंथ की जीत श्री साहिब जी सहाय खालसा जी के बोल बाले बोलना जी। ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਖਸ਼ੋ ਜੀ ਕੇਸ ਦਾਨ ਰਹਿਤ ਦਾਨ ਵਿਵੇਕ ਦਾਨ ਵਿਸਾਹ ਦਾਨ ਭਰੋਸਾ ਦਾਨ ਦਾਨਾ ਸਰਦਾਨ ਨਾਮ ਦਾਨ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਕੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਇਸ਼ਨਾਨ ਚੌਂਕੀਆਂ ਝੰਡੇ ਬੁੰਗੇ ਜੁਗੋ ਜੁਗ ਅਟਲ ਧਰਮ ਕਾ ਜੈ ਜੈਕਾਰ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਜੀ। ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦਾ ਮਨ ਨੀਵਾਂ ਮੱਤ ਉੱਚੀ ਮੱਤ ਪੱਧ ਦਾ ਰਾਖਾ ਆਪ ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ ਗੁਰਧਾਮਾਂ ਪਾਸੋਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਪੰਥ ਨੂੰ ਵਿਛੋੜਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਖੁੱਲੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਦਿਦਾਰੇ ਅਤੇ ਸੇਵਾ ਸੰਭਾਲ ਦਾ ਦਾਨ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਬਖਸ਼ੋ ਜੀ। ਹੇ ਨਿਮਾਣਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਮਾਣ ਨਿਤਾਣਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਤਾਣ ਨਿਓਟਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਓਟ ਨਿਗਤਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਗਤ ਨਿਪਤਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਪਤਨੀ ਧਿਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਧਿਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀਓ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਹਜ਼ੂਰ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਜੋਦੜੀ ਹੈ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀਓ। सिटी कौंसल वालों सच्चे पातशाह जीओ जो ये महीना जो है सच्चे पातशाह जीओ साध संगत की चढ़ती कला वास्ते सच्चे पातशाह जी मनाया जा रहा है सच्चे पातशाह जीओ आप कृपा करनियाँ मेहर करनियाँ समूह साध संगत के सीस ते मेहर भरे हथ रखने सच्चे पातशाह जीओ संगतां विच खुशियां खेड़े बरताई रखने आने वाला समा जो है सच्चे पातशाह जीओ खुशियां भरिया होवे सिर ते मेहर भरे हथ रख के सच्चे पातशाह जीओ बच्चों नूं उच्च विद्या बख्शनी सच्चे पातशाह जीओ समूह कारज सच्चे पातशाह निर्विघन संपूर्ण ਕਰਵਾਉਣੇ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀਓ। ਕੌਂਸਲ ਦੇ ਸਿਰ ਤੇ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀਓ ਮੇਰਾ ਪਰੇ ਹੱਥ ਰੱਖ ਕੇ ਸਮੂਹ ਕਾਰਜ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਸਿਟੀ ਲਈ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀਓ, ਆਪ ਜਿਹਨੇ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀਓ ਸਮੂਹ ਕਾਰਜ ਨਿਰਵਿਘਨ ਸੰਪੂਰਨ ਕਰਵਾ ਦੇਣੇ, ਸਿਰ ਤੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਪਰੇ ਹੱਥ ਰੱਖਣੇ, ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀਆਂ ਕਲਾ ਬਖਸ਼ਣੀਆਂ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀਓ। ਸਮੂਹ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀਓ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀਆਂ ਕਲਾ ਬਖਸ਼ਣੀਆਂ, ਨਾਮਦਾਨ ਬਖਸ਼ਣਾ। ਛੇ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਮੇਲਿਆ ਕਰਨੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਵੇਲੇ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਚਿੱਤਾ ਵੈ, ਨਾਨਕ ਨਾਮ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਹੋਵੇ ਕਲਾ, ਤੇਰੇ ਪਾਣੇ ਸਰਬੱਤ ਦਾ ਭਲਾ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਬੋਲੇ ਸੋ ਨਿਹਾਲ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
All right, thank you very much. Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you all very much. Thank you. All right, staff has requested we pull item number 15 from the agenda, so item number 15 regarding HR staffing will not be heard tonight. We'll move on to item number 1, presentations and proclamations. Today's first one's a Veterans Day proclamation presented to Yuba City Down. Is Mike present? There he is right there, incognito with a hat on. Come on down, Mike. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. All right, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so again, this is Mike Nichols. He's the president of the Yuba City Stand Down, also a United States Vietnam veteran.
Correct.
Welcome. So the Veteran Stand Down for the homeless veterans was modeled after the stand down concept used during the Vietnam War to provide a safe retreat for units returning from combat operations. At secure base camp areas, troops were able to take care of personal hygiene, get clean uniforms, enjoy warm meals, receive medical and dental care, mail and receive letters, and enjoy the camaraderie of friends in a safe environment. The Yuba City Veteran Stand Down has been refined to meet the needs of our veterans, homeless or not, all active duty personnel and their dependents. The Yuba City Veteran Stand Down has served 823 veterans in the Yuba City area, ages ranging from 19 to 93. The Yuba City Veteran Stand Down has more than 2,800 volunteers from all walks of life that make Stand Down happen. I would also like to have all veterans in the audience to please stand and come front and center for the Veterans Day proclamation. If you're all here, there are some. Very good. Thank you all very much for being here. Veterans Day is November 11th, the anniversary of the ending of World War I, by paying tribute to the heroes of that tragic struggle and by rededicating ourselves to the cause of peace. Throughout the history of our nation, our men and women in uniform have risked their lives to protect the interest of our country and defend our freedom. Yuba City citizens live in freedom because of contributions and sacrifices made by those who have served and by those who continue to serve. And we have a few of them right here in front of you. Yes, we do. And Yuba City is also honored to be the home of 4,800 more veterans as well. On this Veterans Day, Yuba City remembers that we are forever indebted to the service members who have fought and died in defense of our country. So therefore be it resolved that I, Sean Harris, Mayor of the City of Yuba City, and on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby recognize November 11th, 2019 as Veterans Day, and I call this observation to the attention of all Yuba City citizens. Thank you all very much. Did I give you two? All the trinkets here. Here you go, Bob. Thank you. All right, you care to say anything? Yeah, never passes, never, imagine that. There you go.
Never giving the mic.
No, closed session just started. We would like to thank you. We always talk about Veterans Day for those that have served and those that have passed and the POWs and the MIAs. But you look at the Vietnam era, say 68,000 people didn't come home. 683,000 didn't come home. So of the millions that went over there, you have that many millions of survivors over here. And the biggest thing out for them is what they call survivor's guilt. And that's why you don't see a lot of veterans wearing hats. You don't see them out in public bolstering around and saying what they do, or even coming out to veterans events or things like that. So in the community, it's very important that if you do see a veteran or you know a veteran, tell them thank you. I mean, it's a big thing to them. I waited till I was 55 before I got my first one. And I turned 21 in Vietnam. So that was my big change to become an adult, be 21 in Vietnam. So there are a lot of things out there that we take for granted, that a lot of us feel very strongly about. And we carry a lot of things, what they call anniversary dates, where you're talking about being 15 years married. We carry dates that are very important to us, the things that happened to us in places where we served. And that's in all wars and in any branch of the service out here. So to those veterans, we say thank you. And please take time to say thank you to those vets in your area that you know. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Next one is Chamber of Commerce presentation by Marnie Sanders. And before we start the presentation, I don't know if it's in my thing that they give me here, but I want to recognize these two gentlemen, at least in the back here. Is Brian? Is that Brian? Is that you? Yeah. Okay. You guys have worked hard on our new stuff here, and you've really spearheaded with our AT folks and stuff with the new microphones and everything. This is the first time we're getting to use them, so they put a lot of work and effort. Believe me, he's kind of minimizing it, but it's going to look nice. We're still getting used to it, but clearly.
Okay.
Go for it.
All right. Well, Council, thank you for asking me to come tonight to give a chamber update. And I want to thank our veterans out there for your service. We really appreciate it. So the chamber, well, we're up to a whole lot. I'd like to give you an update on some of the things that you've supported the chamber with. And the first is the Taste of Yuba City, which we had on October 10th, and that was a huge success. We had over 35 restaurants, wineries, and breweries out, over 500 guests. We brought in over $30,000 in support for that event. But really, I think it just really epitomizes the work that the chamber does in supporting our business community. And we've gotten a lot of great feedback from our businesses that were able to participate. So we're really excited about that. And thank you to the City of Yuba City for support with that. This weekend is the ever popular Swan Festival. It is back. The last time the community had the Swan Festival was in 2016. And I had lots of people tugging at me saying, we really need to have the Swan Festival back. So here we are. It's this weekend, November 8th through the 10th, and we've got a couple of dozen field trips exploring our beautiful region here, trips out into the Sutter Buttes, District 10, and we have some great leaders there. And so the city also supported that event. So we're really excited. We have over 200 people registered for that event. Our marketing has reached over 47,000 people. So I think it's just going to take a little bit of time to build. So I'm hoping we can double those numbers in the coming next year. So there's that. And then Gala is actually going to be February 28th at the very popular Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. I think a lot of you have probably had the opportunity to visit out there. And so we're really excited about having that event out there, and we plan on having more people at that event, and I'm really excited about that. So I start out with events, and really what we're trying to get away from is that we are just a parties, pageants, and pancake breakfast kind of organization. But I just want to get all that out of the way and to say thank you for the support for those events. But some of the areas that I'm really hoping that the Chamber can focus on and will be focused on and has been are in the area of advocacy. And so that is, through our Government Affairs Committee that meets monthly. We do a lot of work there. We hear about issues in the community, and the group decides on whether or not we need to take positions. We actually had an opportunity here in this community to speak on behalf of businesses, and it really went swimmingly. So if I can make this a really short story, we had a business who contacted the Chamber and said, hey, there's a item on the agenda at Sutter County Board of Supervisors meeting. We don't know anything about this. We really would like the opportunity to weigh in before decisions get made on behalf of these businesses. So we picked up the phone at the Chamber, we talked to some folks, and by that afternoon, I had a call from Steve Smith saying we have taken it off the agenda. We'd like to meet with you and the businesses to discuss what this ordinance means for the businesses. So I was really pleased by that process. We are going to host an information session, so businesses in that particular industry will have the opportunity to hear about how this ordinance will impact them, and to have that opportunity to weigh in. So to me, that is a great testimony to what chambers are really here for, and that is to represent our business community and to speak on their behalf and to support them in their endeavors to be successful in their business. So, and I do want to give a shout out too. So we had Pyology ribbon cutting today, and it was very well attended. And the owners of Pyology, who own several other Pyology restaurants in other cities, they made the comment that working with the city of Yuba City was their best experience by far over these other cities that they started businesses in. So congratulations to the city for making their experience very positive and business friendly. And to tout the Chamber, it was their best ribbon cutting experience as well. So, and actually I've had chambers from other communities call me and say, hey, we've heard you have really well attended events. What's your secret? I think the secret really is that our community is really, really supportive of, businesses, and they come out in droves to show that support. So I'm just really very pleased to be part of the Chamber and to do that. We've started more workshops and trainings for our businesses. So we've had some business basics courses, helping business to understand where they can get loans, building a business plan, things of that nature, social media marketing. There's, laws that are impacting businesses of 5 or more employees. They need training on sexual harassment, or they need to offer 401k plans to their employees. So we're trying to keep businesses up to speed on remaining compliant so they're not getting into trouble. So we're really trying to build a more robust workshop and training program for the Chamber. And also in the area of advocacy, we've started our membership with the United Chamber Advocacy Network, which is a group of about 8 or 9 other chambers who are in similar communities to ours. And we actually have a lobbyist at the Capitol who is can speak on our behalf. And so our chambers are getting together and we're developing a set of survey questions that will be going out to all of our members, which amounts to about 5,000 businesses in our region. And we'll be asking them those important questions, what they care about, and that will help us to develop our public policy into next year. So we've got all of that going on. We have other great plans for next year. That whole business-friendly term that I hear often, we're trying to dig down deeper into, what do you mean by not business-friendly? So we're really going to be focused on helping to link business to what they're looking for in terms of getting help in their business. Oftentimes businesses might be complaining about one thing and they think it's a city, but it's the county and vice versa. So with our work with the EDC, the Economic Development Corporation, and our work with the Yuba City Business Consortium, we're trying to link businesses to these services and provide an easy one-stop shop for them, for our businesses to just pick up the phone, give us a call, and we can help link them to the things that they're looking for. There's a whole lot of other things. I don't know how long I've spoke, but if you had any questions, I'm happy to answer those. You guys are really easy. Yeah. Okay.
You're the mayor. I won't make it easy for you then.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I appreciate all the hard work that you've put together for our chamber in a relatively short amount of time, and the commitment and the work that all of you do. And I appreciate the fact that you ask questions, you include us in the conversation, not just as a council member, but many individuals in the community. And the taste of Yuba City it was just amazing. And so many of the same people that are in the downtown business were featured there. And it's just, it's a great event that just promotes our entire businesses and also the quality of life and the diversity of this community. And the chamber does a fantastic job on that. So I have to say thank you and appreciate you coming here to give us an update.
Thank you. I was remiss in saying a few things that I think are really important. Number one, with the Taste of Yuba City, we had a contest using a key ingredient, and it was pumpkin. So we incorporated using locally sourced produce, which I think is really great, and we'll be doing that next year as well. And as far as the chamber's stability, we're doing wonderfully. So from last year to this year, our revenues have grown 21%, and we have hired another full-time staff person, which I think speaks volumes for how far we've come in the last couple of years. Okay.
All right. Yep.
Thank you, Marty, for your presentation. But I also want to make a shout out too for Marty's number one backup helper, helps make this go, Jackie Lee.
Yes.
Thank her.
Yay. Yep. Jackie Lee, woohoo!
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, our staff is amazing, and Jackie does a fabulous job. Couldn't do it without her. Thank you. And Manny, who is he's at every one of our ribbon cutting, so he's also an ambassador, so we appreciate you always being there representing the city and the chamber as well.
Thank you, Marty. Yeah, your ribbon cuttings are pretty well attended. I think might be, those scissors, people are still surprised that they actually work. They're going to be in a museum someday,
They're really sharp.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, you have to
I promise not to run with them next time.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
That's right. It's my best joke. Number 3, award of 2019 wastewater collection improvements. Welcome, Ben.
All right, good evening, Mayor Harris and members of the City Council. So the item before you is in regards to the 2019 Wastewater Collection Improvement Project Award. So basically back in September, I came to you, asked for approval to go out to bid, approve the plans and specs. It's for a project that rehabs, repairs about 1,500 lineal feet at various locations. The locations were chosen based on input from the Sewer Collections Division on trouble spots, CCTV reports, and different hotspot data that we have, where we have failures and repairs. So with that, we went out to bid. We received 3 bids, with the low bid being Lehman Construction Incorporated company, basically a local company, at $302,000, which was nice to see below the engineer's estimate, which with the bid environment, those bids keep increasingly going higher and higher. So it was nice to see that one come in with a tight spread. So with this, we're looking for a total project cost approximately $350,000, 5% construction management, and then 10% contingency. We're asking for the full 10% contingency with this one, just with it being underground work, with the pipeline work. And a lot of times when we get in there to do the evaluations with the TV, the lines are in such bad shape, they don't really get all the way through to see how bad the pipes are. And so with that underground work and the unknowns, we're asking for that full amount. And so with that, we're planning to utilize account 981104, which is a recurring CIP project where we fund that annually with maintenance funds. So with that, I recommend adoption of A, B, and C, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Through the mayor and the city attorney, I just realized that I need to recuse myself from this because I have a business relationship with one of the contractors.
All right, we'll get you in momentarily here. All right, thank you, Ben. That's the conclusion of your presentation.
It is.
All right, would any member of the public care to comment on the item? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to council for any questions, comments, or action.
Through the mayor?
Yep.
I'd like to make staff's recommendation awarding the 2019 wastewater collection improvements project.
I second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Good. Thank you very much, Ben. Does a 302 include the 10%?
No, the 348.
348.
Is the 5 and the 10. So the 302 is the contract amount.
All right, thank you. Ordinances number 4. Somebody was listening in. All right. Garden refuse ordinance update. Ben, you're back at it.
All right, so back at it here. So this is basically the final review and approval is council's consideration for adoption of the ordinance updates in the second reading for those updates regarding the garden refuge. Previously, staff's brought this to council for introduction, and also with input, we sent out a mailer that should have been received citywide in the water bill last week, and then the street sweeper has also been wrapped with some campaign information as far as how to properly dispose of the green waste. And so with that, we're requesting council consideration and waive the second reading. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the dais? All right, go ahead.
Through the mayor, I really like how you did that cover on the machine. It looks really cool. There, yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Hopefully it resonates.
Yeah. It's nice, huh? I know I have no other questions. I just wanted to make that comment. And thank you for following up on making sure that that would help the public understand these changes and putting the notification in the bill. That was something that we requested, and you handled it within less than a month. So thank you.
All right, any member from the public care to comment? Nope. Back for the council.
Through the mayor?
Yep.
I move we adopt an ordinance amending the Yuba City Municipal Code to allow for placement of guarding refuse and defining violation as a nuisance and waive the second reading.
Second.
We have a motion and 2 seconds. I think Grace was first. All those in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? None. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Item number 5, rules and regulations governing city council meetings, presented by Tara Locke.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Weird being on this side instead of down there. So tonight I'm bringing back the second reading and adoption of the rules and regulations governing the conduct of council meetings and proceedings and business. And so we're amending the order of section 2.1.02, order of business, and section 2.1.04, rules of conduct, and there's a couple other minor language changes. And so the rules governing the order of business has been in the municipal code since 1991. And so it's about time for it to be updated. And having it as part of the ordinance makes it kind of rigid and not flexible. So what we're also proposing is to adopt a resolution that proposes an order of business. The reason to have something in place that we can move around with helps the city managers and the clerk's office be able to put agendas together. And so we did add a couple things to this. One of them was you have the opportunity for the agenda modification approval at the beginning of agenda in case you want to move things around. And then we have the future agenda items. So those are our two new types of agenda items. And then other than that, it's just kind of a rearrangement. So if council is happy with that, we can adopt the resolution, or if you have any changes, I'll be happy to hear them. And then the other one was for a resolution was adopting the Rosenberg's Rules of Order as part of a resolution instead of part of the ordinance. Ordinances, again, are very rigid, whereas the resolutions are flexible. And so Robert's Rules, which was different than what we had adopted, is 700 pages. And how to make a motion doesn't even occur until page 100. And so Rosenberg's Rules is extremely simple, and it's more real world. So here is another list of just notes that are listed as part of a cheat sheet for Rosenberg's Rules. So what I'm asking is to adopt an ordinance amending the Yuba City Municipal Code sections 2.01 through 2.06 of Chapter 1 pertaining to rules and regulations governing city council meetings, and waive the second reading, and also to adopt a resolution setting the order of business and parliamentary procedures for city council meetings. I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, good job. Thank you. Any questions from up here? Any member of the public care to comment? All right, back to council.
Through the mayor.
Yes.
On this, thank you for bringing this, Ms. Locke and our city manager. Spending some time with this, I'm very well versed in Robert's Rules, and Rosenberg's basically is a simplified version of that'll help. The only thing that I ask, and we have had a conversation about this, is all of our commissions, city council, will have training on Rosenberg's, because the problem that we have was we can enact whatever set of rules we wanted, but the problem we have is many people don't understand how the rules work, and the rules are there to make sure that everybody's voice is heard and not to be abused, and I want to make sure that the proper training is going to be occurring.
Yes, Councilmember Shaw, we will have a training for all Brown Act committees in the city of Yuba City, which would be the City Council, the Planning Commission, the Parks and Rec Commission, the Senior Advisory Committee, and the Youth Advisory Committee. And we're just trying to logistically put all their schedules together for one night of a spectacular 2-hour training session on the Brown Act and Rosenberg's Rules of Order. And those will be the two main topics, and our esteemed city attorney will be presenting that. And we're going to try to do it in January or February, no later than February.
Who's bringing popcorn? That was a joke, I'm sorry. With that, Mr. Mayor, if you don't have any other comments from the council, I will make the motion.
I get public comment real quick first. If anybody would like to say anything on that? Nothing? All right. Oh, yes. Cindy, if you can come up here. Forget it. All right. All right, go ahead.
Okay, through the mayor. I move that we adopt an ordinance amending the Yuba City Municipal Code sections 2-1.01 through 2-1.06 of Chapter 1 pertaining to the rules and regulations governing city council meetings, and waive the second reading. In addition, I move to adopt a resolution setting the order of business and parliamentary procedures for city council meetings.
Second.
All right, first and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Thank you very much. Number 6, Building Regulations Ordinance and the adoption of the 2019 edition of the California Building Standards Code. It looks like Ms. Langley. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So the item before you tonight is the Building Regulations Ordinance for adoption of the 2019 Building Code. So just some pertinent facts from this ordinance update. State building codes are updated every 3 years. Municipalities must adopt by January 1st, 2020. No new local amendments are proposed as part of this. Public outreach will include informational materials to stakeholders, and staff will be trained on state updates. In regard to significant changes as part of this new building code, requirement for fire-resistant membrane protection for floor framing materials above crawl spaces, no exemption for interconnection of smoke alarms, periodic special inspection required to verify wood trusses permanent bracing, and this is the big one, solar photovoltaic for all new homes per 2019 Energy Code. So the recommendation before you tonight is to introduce an ordinance repealing and reenacting Title VII and appropriate chapters of the Yuba City Municipal Code titled Building Regulations, which provides regulations to implement the 2019 edition of the California Building Standards Code, and waive the first reading.
All right, any comment from the dais? I do have one speaker card. Anybody else from the public who care to comment, please step forward. The first one and only one I have ahead of time is Lawrence, I believe it says Mertz. Come on up, sir. Sir, is it M-E-R-T-Z?
That is correct.
All right.
Yes, my name is Lawrence Mertz. I live off of Papilla in North Yuba City. And I have a disagreement with the solar panels. I think that should be optional. It's like mandating solar backup generators and pools in your yard. I do not agree with putting mandatory solar panels on all housing. We already have a shortage of housing in Yuba City, and all this does is crank up the costs of new housing for prospective buyers. It is another example of an unfunded mandate from the state legislature with no regard to the taxpayers. If people want solar panels, I think they should have the option of putting it on themselves at their expense or however they deal to do with it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Anybody else care to comment? All right, back to council.
Yeah, through the mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a staff's recommendation of the Building Regulations Ordinance and the adoption of the 2019 edition of the California Building Standards Code, introduced ordinance repealing and reacting Title VII, appropriate chapters of Yuba City Municipal Code titled Building Regulations, which provides regulations to implement the 2019 edition of the California Building Standards Code, and waive the first reading.
All right, got a motion to approve staff recommendation.
Through the mayor.
Yes.
I had a comment.
All right.
First.
Go ahead.
So, just for point of clarification, Ms. Langley, I believe you said in the beginning that all municipalities had to accept these new guidelines and rules and regulations. We don't get to pick ones we want, we have to be in compliance.
Correct.
Thank you. Okay. I will second the motion.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, unanimous. Number 7, Fire Prevention Ordinance and the adoption of the 2018 edition of the International Fire Code. Mr. Marshall, Jesse Frias.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the council, city staff, and our public. My name is Jesse Frias. I'm your Yuba City Fire Marshal. Thank you. So tonight, what we're introducing is the other half of the Building Standards Commission required by Health and Safety Code to adopt and review publications and standards published by the International Code Council. Oops, sorry. So this triennial effect is the Title 24 of California Code of Regulations, consisting of multiple parts, including the California Building and Fire Codes, undergo a triennial adoption process, starting with the International Code Council, ultimately concluding with the City of Yuba City, at the local government level with the City of Yuba City. The final steps of the code adoption process provides the locals local government with the ability to modify the minimum standards adopted by state agencies, but the standards have to be to a higher standard at the local level. These modifications shall be more stringent than the state minimum regulations based on climatic, geological, or topographical conditions. This triennial cycle, we are proposing no additional local amendments. We're only requesting to move forward existing amendments from the current ordinance to include, and these were very special tools. Number one is a sprinkler ordinance requiring new commercial buildings to be sprinklered at construction, and if they're greater than 3599 square feet. This has been a local ordinance amendment since 1992, and it's helped this community be just a safe community, as safe as they can. And the authors of this particular one were true visionaries. Permits requiring the sale of safe and sane fireworks. This requirement has been in effect since 2003. And what this one does is regulates the ratio of booths from 1 booth per 2,000 population, requiring permit, state fire marshal certification and licensing, and also it regulates who can obtain the permits, nonprofit organizations. The last would be permits requiring a permit for security gates crossing fire department access roads, and requirements for road access into residential areas. The analysis that we concluded here, no substantial changes in the state code. Most changes are clarification or relocations or editorial and changes within the sections. No fiscal impact locally, and minimal for the state mandated sections. And our recommendation is introduce an ordinance repealing and reenacting Chapter 5 of Title 4 with the Yuba City Municipal Code, named Fire Prevention, and waive the first reading. This code will also go in effect January 1.
Thank you, sir. Any comment from up there?
Through the mayor.
Yes.
Just for clarification, we're not putting any additional burden on developers or builders or residents or anything with these requirements, because it's everything, like you said, is purely clerical, and we already have the sprinklers that has been in place since 1992 as it is.
Correct. We're taking what's currently Yuba City law and moving it forward and not adding any additional costs.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody from the public care to comment? Please feel free if you need to. All right. Entertain a motion.
Through the mayor.
Yes.
I'd like to staff's recommendation of fire prevention ordinance and the adoption of the 2018 edition of the International Fire Code. Introduce an ordinance repealing and reacting Chapter 5 of Title 4 of the Yuba City Municipal Code entitled Fire Prevention, and waive the first reading.
Second.
All right. Have a first and a second to approve staff recommendation. All those in favor?
Aye.
And none opposed. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Moving on to public communication, you are all welcome and encouraged to participate in the meeting. Public comment is taken on items listed on the agenda when they are called. Public comment on items not listed on the agenda will be heard at this time. Comments on controversial items may be limited, and large groups are encouraged to select representatives to express the opinions of the group. Any written requests, members of the public submit a written request at least 24 hours prior to the meeting will be normally allotted 5 minutes to speak. I do have 4 speaker cards here. Number 1 was from Virgil Atkinson, and Virgil, I understand you've requested folks appear in a certain order, and I will, of course, have no reason not to honor that, so you're up.
My name is Virgil Atkinson. I live at 4282 Fortner Road. I'm here tonight wearing a hat. I normally don't wear a hat to these types of meetings. I also have a shirt that my friends like me to wear, and it's because we have some amazing people in our community, and I feel it is our responsibility and our commitment to support them. I'd like to present to you a community volunteer program. If you know me, you know that I'm into volunteering for our community. The program is called justserve.org, and I'd like to start off with a short 1-minute video.
Open.
One of the things that we have a lot of questions from the community, from faith-based organizations, is how do we give back to the community? How can we get involved? The Just Serve program has basically allowed us to give volunteers a direction.
It allows you to go in, find something that fits your personality, your family.
If I could sit down with another council member in another city that was either looking at this or had talked about it, I think what I would say to them and what I have said to them is that this is one of those types of programs that will, again, help your city to be a success.
I just love volunteering here because it kind of takes me out of myself and puts me into the community, and it just makes me feel like I'm making a difference.
So justserve.org is not another nonprofit organization that we're introducing to our community. It is a website that allows volunteer organizations to post their need for volunteers and for those of us in the community to sign up as a volunteer. It's really pretty much that simple. So if you were to go to the website of justserve.org, just that simple, you're going to find an opening page. You put in your zip code of wherever you live or wherever you go in the United States, and you determine how far you're willing to travel. 5 miles, 10 miles, 15 miles, whatever, and up will pop a list of opportunities to serve wherever you're at. And so what it does right here is it brings sponsoring organizations like the ones that are here tonight and connects them with volunteers. Getting volunteers is difficult. And so I have asked to be here tonight a number of large businesses, which John Cassidy will introduce, and let you know that those large businesses are willing to help introduce justserve.org to their employees. We're hoping that the city and county and all will get involved in this. I'm presenting this to Sutter County, to Marysville, to Yuba County also. Jerry Handy is also going to introduce some of the local community organizations that need volunteers. So if you put those two together, plus the rest of the community, we're looking to get between 5,000 and 10,000 volunteers in the pool. And we hope to include Beale Air Force Base and every organization in the community that we can do. So if we go, do I have to change to the next slide or does it happen for me? Okay. So it's that simple. You sign up, you look for opportunities to serve. You can contact those organizations and let them know that you want to serve. It can also be a link that takes you to to the individual organization's site if they have a way to connect there. Also, an organization can post opportunities to serve. All of us in all of our community, church, clubs, schools, city, counties, should all be looking for opportunities for projects that volunteers can come and do. And so these are just a couple of examples I won't read of people who have used the program and found success in doing so. And volunteers, if you have ever seen this shirt around, you know what this is about. If you've seen this hat, you know what this hat is about. And so as a community, we don't have a problem with being willing to volunteer, but the problem is when you're putting something together, how do you get the volunteers connected with the organizations that need help? And that's what this program can do. It's building unity through community service. All of us are in favor of this. It's just a great tool to enable us to be able to put this together. And so I'm hoping that each of us can make a commitment to be able to do that. Any questions?
Virgil, is the website for our area, is that up and running right now?
It is.
It is, okay, very good.
You're going to find about 20 projects there right now just in our area.
Thank you very much. We'll call up Jerry next. it's nice to have a centralized location like that. It can be confusing sometimes.
Thank you. So I'm Jerry Handy with the 4G Foundation, and Virgil asked me to come up and read off some of our community organizations. So if you're here, maybe you can just give a little shout out, little wave. First one, let's see, Jeff Stevens, Say Love. Thank you very much. Stephanie McKenzie, Vice Mayor of City of Marysville, Yuba Community Task Force. No,
I think they meet pretty much right now, same time.
Oh, she's having a council meeting right now.
Yeah.
All right, didn't know that.
First and third,
see,
just like we are.
Vish Sharma, who's coming out with a new nonprofit, Vish. Don't see Vish. Bob Fischetti with 93Q Radio. There he is. Thank you, Bob. Kevin Carlson, Twin Cities Rescue Mission. Kevin in the audience? No, Kevin.
Out of the hospital.
Kevin's in the hospital. Sorry, Kevin. Okay. Stacy Runyon, Julie Sheffield, Misty Widener, and Cody Spear with Back the Badge. Hello, ladies. Thank you. Nick Anderson with Rest. Hi, Nick. Thank you. Patty Kearns with St. Vincent de Paul. Thank you. Michael Ziegemeyer with Sutter Yuba Community Foundation. No, Mike. Bob Harlan, Yuba Sutter Calusa United Way, Toys for Tots, the acting company. Hi, Bob. Marnie Sanders, Chamber of Commerce. Hi, Marnie. And Brenda Wong with Mother Hubbard's Cover. Hi, Brenda. So thank you all very much. Thank you for your service. I'm truly honored to serve in this community. My heart is the Yuba Sutter community. I know everybody in here's heart is the Yuba Sutter community, and we all just have a passion for serving and for helping others. And one last comment that I'd like to make is a lot of times we operate all in our own little silos doing what we all think is best. I think it'd be cool to maybe put something together where maybe we hear from the city, right, on what we can do to better serve the city as a collective group of community organizations. I think that'd be a really cool task to undertake. It's like, hey, what's the city need and how can we help the city be a better city? So, thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Very good information. Thank you all for being here. John Cassidy, come on up. Jeff, you'll be next.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for listening to us tonight. It's wonderful to be following Jerry. I'll give you a real-world example. Was it 3 years ago, Jerry? I guess 2 years ago, the Reading fires. I'm thinking back to Santa Rosa. Get a call from Jim King and Mr. Slicer, respect himself, and Jerry, and they got to mobilize and got to get to Reading because it's really bad. And first one's on the ground. We got money to them, food, some volunteers, but they were scrambling to get people. And it was amazing how many folks they were able to put together in a heartbeat. And they were the first ones on the ground to help people up there. It was amazing. So I still hear about it up there. Just amazing. And then Jeff Stevens with Say Love, I mean, that's the example this represents right here. So much good, so much cleaning up around our community that, Jeff, what you've done with that group's amazing. Yeah. So I'll mention some folks that are here that I see. Jackie Silman is always involved in everything around here, making it happen and getting volunteers. And she's here from the Yuba County Water Agency, and just because she's got a lot of soul. And Dane Lance from SunSuite. SunSuite's involved in everything around here that means something. That's big. So Suk Bossi from Straw Hat Pizza. Steve Hammerstrom's not here tonight from Adventist Health, but Adventist is obviously heavily involved in the community. Dave Coonan from Recycle Industries. John Jelovich from River Valley Community Bank. Erica Hernandez from Sutter Health. Tom Siller, Siller Brothers Farms and Helicopters, and Kurt Hilbers. Hilbers are everywhere in this community helping and volunteering. And we're all looking forward to getting this word out to our employees. This Thursday, we're teaching financial literacy to 400 students at River Valley High School. And we get asked all the time when it appears in the newspaper or from parents that hear about how they can help and jump in. So this is going to be a great tool. I thank the council for listening tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John.
I got to follow John Cassidy. That's not good. Well, what I was going to mention is
I've been involved with Say Love coming up on a year right now. And for myself, I feel an energy and a passion in this community growing like I haven't seen for a long time. And it's because of these different groups that we've talked about. It's getting people out. They're searching for something to make this community a better place. And what I would really like to ask of the council and city leaders is come out with us. Come out, let the people see you guys out being leaders in this community and helping us. And I'll prove it to you. If you guys are wanting to get reelected, just come out. You will be amazed when your faces show up on social media what that does for you. And I've got proof because I was elected Farmer of the Year and I didn't even run for it. So if you guys would come out, it would greatly help our organizations really feel like the city is buying into it, the county, and everyone is buying into it. And the more energy we can get flowing, the better this whole area is. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
I should make a comment, but I'm not gonna. It'll be good. There are envelopes on the table out in the back if you want to, if you care to. Thank you, Jeff. Anybody else care to comment? Please feel free if you would like to. We have one. Welcome, sir. Mr. Burns.
Good evening. Thomas Burns, live at 1885 Greengate. So what I want to talk about is not so lighthearted. I want to talk about the meeting I went to this week with the Sutter County Taxpayers Association. And we had the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association there. And I want to talk about the continual robbery program that the state and government is doing to the people in California. So they're trying to turn over our Proposition 13 and continue to rob the people more. And it is a heinous thing as far as I'm concerned. And there are actually people out there that are running booths to get signatures. And I saw one at Sam's Club where the guy says, his little sign says, support Proposition 13. And he's getting petitions to overturn Proposition 13. Now, to me, that's pretty criminal. But when we look at the situation in California and the mass exodus, there's quite an exodus out of California. I'm thinking about exiting myself. There is it's a beautiful state, got a lot invested here, lived here most of my life, but I am sick of the robbery program. And then I spent a little time watching situations on the homeless in LA County and in Seattle, and saw a little segment on the news yesterday morning where a couple had moved from San Jose and up into Sacramento, and they kept raising their trailer space rent. So what do we want here? We want to lose our Prop 13 and cause more homelessness? I think it's food for thought. We need to all be out on the forefront to not let that happen.
All right, thank you, Mr. Burns. Anybody else care to comment? All right, backing up to the previous presentations or series thereof, I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of that. It's probably the most pleasant and surprisingly good public comment period we've had. I almost feel like we should have put you on the agenda, right? Although I respect his opinion, it would have kind of avoided the damper that we had to go through before I got to this part, if that makes sense. I completely respect his opinion. But backing up to that, there's so many people in here who you guys volunteer constantly. And I see you out there, we see each other, and it's a really good feeling. It comes right here, and I really like to do the best we can to transfer that or encourage our young people to get involved and start that, make it a habit early right? And there's so many different ways. I love the website idea because it's a centralized location. You can just pick whatever interests you, and there you go. And it doesn't have to be all the time, every time. It may be once or twice a month or something, or less. But it's wonderful. And so I could go name by name as well, and won't take the time, but thank you all so much for being part of it. Thank you to the folks who cannot be here. There's so many more folks, and it's really wonderful, and it's a big, big part of what makes us special. And I think we really are. This is an extremely caring and giving community, and I'm proud to be part of it. I think I speak for all of us in there. I think it's wonderful. Did you have something to say?
Through the mayor, yes.
All right.
Thanks, Brad. I appreciate that. I didn't even have to say anything. That's how good this is. I echo what our mayor said, but I also would like to add to what Jerry was asking and John and others. If there's an opportunity, city manager, for us to develop a forum or some sort of conversation where the council can come together with all of these individuals and as you mentioned with Just Serve as a great system to bring us all together in one location. Having been out to Save Love, have helped out there, Jeff, you know that. So, and I know you got the Farmer of the Year award because you had the commercial and anyway, you're just a celebrity. I'm just in awe with you all the time. But I mean, the seriousness of it is that the more that if we could build like 10,000 people to be volunteers in this community, that's a great accomplishment, I would say, for the overall quality of the life of everyone in this community. So, city manager, if we can, as a council, somehow come together, let's figure this out if we can do this. So I'll take you up on your offer. How about that?
Anybody else?
Yeah, through the mayor. This is exciting, guys. And I know, Jerry, I know where your heart's at. Jeff, I've watched what you've done with Say Love and all the other groups here. You're onto something really special. You talk about a number that I keep hearing come out, and I'm just going to put it in perspective because I'm part of a church that has been doing this for years, and we just unleashed over 10,000 people and did over 350 projects through the greater Sacramento region in 3 days at zero cost to the people that was benefited. I've built fences and I'm not a contractor and I have not a clue what I did. They said measure cut. I said okay, and I was done. But we all came together. It's all about serving. And I will just want to encourage you guys. Jeff, my family's been out with you and picking up and cleaning up. Some of us can serve other ways. Jerry, I've reached out to you and you're my brother and you know we're there, so does John. You're on to something supernaturally special because as you begin to come together and you guys come together with one purpose and one cause, which is to make this community better and to make life better for the people here, wait a year from now. So I just want to encourage you. I support you all in many, many ways and will continue, but just want to give you props and kudos. Good job. Keep it up. And I'm excited for what's coming.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Just want to thank you folks for everything that you do and for people that know about volunteering. I guess I'm at everything volunteering, so I appreciate everything you do, and I'm glad to be there with you. There's a few that I miss, but I try catching up. I'm sure to come and contribute my time to you folks also in the next year. So, yeah, it's an election year. No, I enjoy doing it. I know. I enjoy doing it. This is the community. It's worth the community. I enjoy the community, and you guys do great things, and I'm there to back you up. Thank you. I had to say that.
Is your name the first one on every list out there?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Anybody else care to comment? Public comment period? Nothing? All right, we'll move on to consent calendar.
Oh, no.
Oh, here they go.
Here they go.
They gotta,
Glad to know we moved you guys.
you got to go volunteer real quick, apparently.
This is part of are volunteering to stay. We should have mentioned that.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'll write it down for you, though. I'll stop for you. Number 12? All right. All right, consent calendar. All matters listed under consent calendar are considered to be routine and can be acted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items prior to the time the council votes on the motion unless members of the council, staff, or public request specific items to be discussed or removed from the consent calendar for individual action. Would anyone from the public like to speak on any of the items on the consent calendar? All right. With that in mind, I will entertain a motion on items 10, 11, 10, and 11.
Move to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So be it. Number 12, annual report from the Downtown Yuba City Business Improvement District.
Through the mayor.
Just-
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir.
And proposed levy of annual assessment for 2020 presented. I have Tara Locke here. Looks like we have Sandy coming up. I also understand we do have a recusal.
Yes, through the mayor.
Yes.
I need to recuse myself on this item.
All right. We'll come get you in a second.
Do you have a reason?
Yeah, what is the reason?
Okay.
Councilmember Cardoza?
I know what it is. It's okay.
Oh, it's okay.
Hold on a second.
Thank you, we got it.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
So before you this evening is our annual report from our Downtown Business Association. And so tonight we're asking you to adopt a resolution accepting and approving the 2018-19 annual report of the Downtown Business Improvement Agency that Sandy Drown, who's the current president of the DBA, will be giving to you. Then we'd like you to adopt a resolution of intention to levy and collect the 2020 annual assessments and set a public hearing for our next council meeting of November 19th, 2019. The DBA has not increased their dues this year, so it should be the same as it was last year. So I'd like to introduce Sandy Drown.
Thank you. I know. Can you guys see me? I'm glad I cleared out a room. This is exciting. Everyone's excited to hear about this report. I'm Sandy Drown, and I want to thank, good afternoon, Mayor and councilmen and councilwomen, for allowing me to speak today. And then this is my clicker.
Yes, it is.
And this one? Yep. Okay. All right, so I'm here today.
Sandy, could I, one second, would one of you be kind enough to ask Man if he needs to recuse on both A and B or one or the other, just to confirm?
I think it would be both A.
Both, okay, thank you very much. Okay, continue, sir.
So this is our Yuba City Downtown Business Association annual report for 2018 and 2019. See that crane? That might be missing later in the presentation, so please pay attention. So here, this picture is the boundaries to our district, as you can see. And then here's currently our directors and our members. And I do have some members in the, our directors in the first row. So thanks for coming and supporting me. But we have Ryan Henshaw as Vice President, Treasurer's Cameo Aerosmith, and our Secretary is Danielle Blackmere. And then we've got our Board of Directors, which is Chris Crothers, Joe Federico, JJ Husky, who's in the audience, Steve McCarthy, Cindy Payne, who's been a long-term member, and Teresa Smith. Yeah, thank you. And then Ken Wood, which is also here as well. So thanks for coming and supporting me today. We have 3 committees in our DBA, as you see, Executive and Finance, which meets every month at the end of the month. And then we have our Events Committee, which you will see all our volunteers there. It's more of a robust because of the events that we do. And you will notice, too, that not all of those are our board members. And then we have our Marketing Committee as well. And that committee just got restructured this last year. So in this next year, you'll see some really fun and amazing stuff that we're doing. And I'll be talking about some of those activities later on in this presentation. So our mission for this organization is the mission of the Yuba City Downtown Business Association is to preserve, promote, and encourage inspiring businesses and to promote a safe, clean center for culture and community life of residents and visitors alike. So we currently have the City of Yuba City. We attend meetings that have issues for the downtown when those are on the agenda. We also have our monthly meetings and our committee meetings, which we work with George Barlow, who comes to our meetings, and also we do a lot of our communication with our activities. And then we do 2 presentations as well annually for our summer and Christmas stroll. And then I'm here today to do our annual report. Here's some of the community activities that we have done over the last year. We did our bunny hop, which brings about 2,500 people. Our February through October, we do a first Thursday of the month. In May, this year we just started a farmer's market, which we were doing every Thursday, which we've added to Plymouth Street. We also have our summer stroll. And in case you guys have your calendar out, that is coming on June 20th. We also have our October trick or treat, which if you guys weren't able to come this year, we had about 2,000 people that attended that, which was really exciting to see the street full. We also added a Pretty in Pink event on Center Street, and with those proceeds, we were able to give back to the Give a Key Caring Foundation of $250. We also have our, this week, I don't know if you guys have noticed or drove down Plymouth Street, but we have our wreaths and our decority going because we're going to be having our holiday open house this Thursday. And then, of course, at the end of the month, we'll have our Shop Small Business Saturday. So I hope to see everybody there enjoying our businesses. And then December 19, I don't know why it's there. Sorry, I probably didn't look at that. Oh, it's backwards. Okay. We will have our December 14th, we will have our summer stroll. We also are a member with our membership. We also are have a membership with the Yuba City Chamber of Commerce, which is a great partnership to have. And then you'll see some of the notes of we have an active board. We have 3 monthly meetings. And then also we did go through our bylaws this year and did some job classification and job descriptions that weren't current, and also provided an attendance policy so we could have active board members. Here's some of the pictures of our activities that we've done. The farmers market was a really great turnout this year. You got the summer stroll there. Here's our beautiful downtown, as you see on Plymouth Street. And then our members. So this is what our membership is. Our dues we collect is $29,595. Average member pays about $485. And you can see in the gray is mostly retail, which is most of our memberships made up of retail and services. Blue is food establishments and restaurants. And then the orange is professional services. We also have 21 associated members, and those businesses are not located downtown. However, they want to be part of downtown or show their support for our district. And those are our following members there. You guys excited? I know. That's how you clear a room. Yeah? Didn't you get this PowerPoint early? Yeah, okay. I know, it's exciting. Here's our budget for 2020. Can you read that one? So those are all the activities that we have, our expenses and our income. Crystal Martin, who is our coordinator, keeps us very organized and on point to making sure that we're spending and allocating our budget correctly. We also have some new projects that are coming up. We just updated, we just purchased this year $6,000 in Christmas decor. So that's what you guys are seeing, which was exciting. So from the money that we make from our events, we're supposed to, if you look at the bylaws, is put half of that towards marketing. And so we found that recently. And so that's where we're able to spend that money. We also have this historic directional sign that we're working with Public Works to hopefully maybe get that up. we're being ambitious, but we had Ken Wood who designed the top part. And so anyways, this is kind of something that we're looking at doing. Yeah, it's different. And the other thing we took away was Yuba City, because what we're noticing when we're doing a lot of our research is that people don't know where downtown is. So we've been putting Plymouth Street because people understand that. Even with our strolls that we have a lot of calls that Crystal fills in with where it's exactly at. So this is kind of an area to actually, people don't have to guess. They know it's on Plymouth Street. We also have an exciting project that we've been collaborating with Public Works, Diana, and Brian with Parks and Recs on. We have 106 trees, I believe. I didn't audit you on that count, but I believe you. 106 trees downtown. And so what we're looking to do, if I go to the next slide, is do something like that. And so I don't know if we're working with Public Works and Parks and Recs to figure out logistically how we can make that happen and the cost. And so anyways, we're hoping to, at some point, at least start the process and get that moving.
With the lighting was awesome, by the way. Would that be something Christmas only or something we could do year round maybe? Oh, year round, okay. All right, good.
We're letting this, I was looking over at Parks and Recs and Diana.
Oh, that's, yeah.
We're hoping for year round. This is a picture, though, of other similar downtowns. So one is Livermore, and the other one, I think is it Pleasanton? And so those are other downtowns, and so just really attractive, and then to just bring some more visibility down there. And also, I think it does deter homelessness in our downtown, because if it's lit, what we've noticed on Plymouth Street, the areas that are well lighted, we don't have as much activity as we do the ones that aren't. So activity for Fenton.
So we can talk about the well-lighted stuff.
Thank you. I made up that word. I do that sometimes.
And since we are talking about it, hey, we're amongst friends here. It's all good. On some LED stuff, I've seen them before where you can even change the colors. So if you kept them year-round, you can change for fall, or maybe even during the parade, you can sync them to music and all kinds of cool stuff. So I don't know if that's already been considered, but it sounds pretty exciting.
Rob is from the city, is working with, I don't know his last name, Rob, what is it? Condry. He's purchasing some lights to figure out how many lights it would take, and then also the cost. So awesome. We are in the early development of that, so we'll definitely keep the city council.
I think you have a volunteer to help.
We totally need volunteers.
I'll do it.
Get on. You're good on a ladder?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to go there, clearly you're not.
No, I am height challenged, so.
All right. It's all good.
Okay. Any other questions on these? Nope. Okay. And then we have exciting stuff. We've had 7 new businesses that came downtown. And so it's a variety. We've got a real estate, a photographer. The Tea Garden House Event Center has a new owner, and so we've got a lot of great energy there. We're excited about that. And then we have a printing company as well. No businesses closed, which is exciting. And then we do have 2 upcoming businesses that we're waiting to open up. So that is my exciting presentation.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, and thank you all you folks for coming too. All right. Are we going... Terrell, you're going to talk about the details of what we're voting on here?
So, so what
okay.
you need to do is we need to adopt a resolution accepting and approving the report that was just given, the status with the budget and the projects that they're working on. And the next thing, we need to adopt a resolution of intention to levy and collect the 2020 annual assessments and public hearing notices. So part of your packet that was part of your agenda packet, it tells you what the district assessments are, and it's not proposed to change.
All right. So we have to do 2 separate votes. So I'll entertain a motion. First of all, any public comment? Yes, sir. Come on down, Mr. Burns.
My comments are, I don't really, they're not really comments, but questions. Is the city and the Downtown Business Association, are they married? Who funds what? And like the tree lighting, who pays the PG&E? That kind of stuff I'm interested in.
All right, thank you, sir. Anybody else care to comment?
We're just friends. We're not married. We're good friends.
That is a very good question, and it will be addressed before any decision is made. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a very good question. All right.
So, do you want me to
You're
answer
done?
the question?
No.
No, okay.
I'm just making sure you're done before we.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think you can adopt it A and B together.
I understand we need to go separate.
On this one, because of the language in the state statute, I recommend doing it separately, so one right after the other.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're going for number A now. I'll move to approve. Do I have a second?
I don't know if Councilman
I just had a
Shaw
comment
has a
before.
comment.
Oh, you have a comment. All right.
I just wanted to say, great job, you guys downtown. I love seeing you guys take, it feels like new ownership of that whole district. So I just wanted to say kudos to you guys. I like what we're seeing. So, and with that, unless you have a comment, I'll second.
Are you're backing us up to public comment again now?
You're going backwards.
You know what? Go right ahead. We can do that. I don't hear our attorney talking, so I think we can.
Cindy Payne, 679 Almond Street, Yuba City, California, owner of Payne Properties. And just here to address Mr. Burns, we are a the city does not fund us, the businesses fund us, so that's where we're taxed. We do ask for donations from the city as a sponsorship occasionally, but for the general funds, it is from the businesses themselves. We are a self-funded, self-assessed business improvement district that's been around for 30 to 40 years. So, and for the lighting, we'll see. Don't know on that one yet. But anyway, just wanted to let you know your question would be answered. Anybody else have any questions? All right.
Thank you, Cindy. Appreciate that. All right.
Did you motion?
I made the motion to approve item number A. You second. And if we're in favor?
All in favor, yeah.
Aye.
Okay. Now, B would be to adopt a resolution of intention to levy and collect 2020 annual assessments and set a public hearing for November 19th.
Second. Did you motion?
Sure.
I second the motion. I second.
All right. We all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you very much. If someone could please get Mr. Cardoza. Appreciate that. Thank you. Keep doing the good work you're doing. You may be all ready, but maybe consider solar for powering the new lights when we get them. I'm not kidding. Yeah. It's the best decision I ever made.
Again,
Yeah.
the mayor will help with the lights, okay?
Whatever you need. All right, so moving on to number 13, amendment to the disposition and development agreement for the Feather River Mill and associated properties, presented by Diana Langley.
Good evening.
And Emmett, thank you for bearing with us through this. Appreciate it. All right.
So the item before you is the second amendment to the development and disposition agreement for the Feather River Mill site. The Feather River Mill site is located at the southeast corner of Bridge Street and Shasta Streets. It's a parcel that was contaminated per the previous uses. And so over the last few years, the city has done a lot of work to determine the extent of the contamination and worked with the state to develop an approved remedial action plan. Mr. Mehmet Noyan of Noyan Properties secured a signed letter of intent from Lotus Incorporated for a Holiday Inn Express to be located at the southwestern portion of the property. And city efforts related to this include ongoing construction of the Fifth Street Bridge, analysis of traffic impacts, and then upcoming updates to the general plan zoning and Central City specific plan. So a little bit of background on the DDA. It was executed with Noyan Properties on July 26, 2017. Amendment number 1 changed the date for the close of property from January 26, 2018 to July 20, 2018. So while the DDA extension term technically expired on July of 2018, the parties can agree to revive the DDA as amended with the approval of this amendment. Noyan Properties has requested a new close date of November 5th, 2020 as amendment number 2. And then Noyan Properties intends to proceed with the development of the site consistent with the rest of the agreement terms. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. It's important to note that amendment number 2 will not change the other key aspects of the executed DDA, and those key aspects are identified in the staff report. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, and then I know that Mr. Noyan is here and willing to answer questions as well related to the project. Thank you.
Questions? Any comment from the public at all? Ma'am, would you like to say anything or just here for available? Available. All right. All right. Thank you very much for coming up. You've been, really appreciate everything. All right.
Through the mayor.
Yes.
I move that we authorize the city manager to approve and sign on behalf of the city amendment number 2 to the disposition and development agreement with Noyan Properties LP with regard to the property located on the southeast corner of Bridge and Shasta Streets to be used for the future development of a mixed-use project APN 52-324-023 and 525-02008.
I second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Approved. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, number 14, wastewater treatment facility improvements project for SCADA equipment. Mr. Moody, welcome back.
All right, so you'll have to bear with me a little bit. This gets a little bit out of my wheelhouse talking about SCADA equipment and software for the wastewater treatment facility project. So SCADA is the supervisory control and data acquisition. It's basically it's the Microsoft or the Apple that runs the computers at the plant. And at the plant, there's little computers called programmable logic controllers, so PLCs, on each piece of equipment there. So there's many of these around the site that handle the pumps and the data collectors and the different analyzers to collect that feedback and how we get it to the lab and how we report to the state, and then also what the operators use to operate the plant, to basically understand what the flows are and how we run those pumps and how we adjust chemical and different things. And so the software is critical for how that plant operates. And so when we put the project out, the current wastewater treatment facility project that's going, the large project that's currently going on, about $20 million, part of that was that the owner was going to supply the software to run these computers. And so with that project, the contractor's putting in these programmable logic controllers and have to program them, but we have to provide that software. And so with this, we're coming to you because it's a sole source due to the dollar amount for the approval, but it was anticipated in the original cost with the construction. And so what this equipment, so get into it here. So the GEI Fix is the current system where the license is currently out of date, where we're coming up on a renewal on the license, and then also the current capabilities of that system don't match the new requirements with the new stuff. And so with that, we went and analyzed the staff analyzed different equipment, different major brands. So there's also Allen Bradley is a big competitor, big market share, and compared what the pros and cons were with switching to a different brand, and what maintenance and operations has recommended to us to proceed forward with is to stay with the GEI Fix. And so with that, we got a cost for that software and then the equipment to make those, to make it happen. And it's around $87,000 after tax. And so with that, we're asking for a little contingency amount up to $95,000 to give us some room should something happen that we need to adjust for. And so we're proposing to fund that out of the current CIP funded project account for the project. And so we're not asking to bring more money in, we're asking to use the currently funded project to buy it, since it's being a sole source. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Through the mayor. Mr. Moody, I'm just questioning the contingency. You're buying software. We know what the price of the software is. What would the contingency possibly be for? Because typically when you buy software, you get the entire package. And if you're this type of software, I assume it comes with the installation, everything all as one, like a CRM package. They come in and install it and you're up and running. What is the potential contingency for?
So, I talked to staff down there, and it's really, they think they can make it work for $87,000, but at the same time, there's only 50% of the equipment has been put in place. And so I guess a potential change would be if we add a new PLC or some sort of new function with the project of that, with that project scope being, $20 million and those PLCs having a value of about $500,000 that we're putting in equipment. If it's slightly over, we would technically have to come back to city council for any change in that. But we can make it work for that amount. And we'd be happy to come back if needed. But what I've been told from staff is that we can make it work at that amount if we need to, at the quote with the taxes.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand the contingency. So basically it's, we buy the software, installs, but if it kills one of the pieces of equipment when it installs, because things happen with that, it could be to replace one of the, PCLs or whatever it was.
The PLCs, if all of a sudden we need to buy from that vendor another PLC, or if there's another VFD, a new drive on one of the motors that goes down that we want to improve at the same time, if we buy anything from that vendor, we would have to get separate council approval.
Gotcha. And sticking with acronyms, now that I got to 411, I understand. Thank you.
Through the mayor, Ben, as the presentation, you did a really good job. I think I understood what you said. You didn't think you were going to do fantastic presentation on making it understandable. Okay, I think that the technology improvement is something that we've been needing for a while, and so this project itself to improve just the process and diagnosing things, is that pretty much what?
It's really, you're buying new computers and this is the software for it that makes it run. And so all these new computers require new software and they have these license fees that are absorbent to keep running it. And so that's really where they got you. And so every time you put a new PLC or a new controller in that needs a special function, they charge you a new cost for that.
Yeah, I think when we were elected, we did a tour and you showed us, I think, the computer system in one of those rooms. And am I correct on that?
Yeah, so they bring back that information to the control center.
Yeah, so if there's misfunctions or something's going on wrong, because this could happen at night and there's less staff, and so they're monitoring this whole system through that. Sounds like a good investment to make sure that our water the wastewater's working. That's important. Okay, thanks, Ben.
All right, any other comment? All right, we can entertain a motion at this time.
To the mayor, I'd like to make staff's recommendation of adopting a resolution awarding the purchase of a SCADA equipment and software from GE Digital LLC of San Ramon, California, in the amount not to exceed $95,000, and authorize the city manager to execute the necessary documents. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay. And with the finding it's the best interest of the city.
All right.
Second.
All right. We have a first and a second, but I'd like to back up if you guys don't mind for public comment opportunity, if any. Okay, so we have a first and second to approve staff recommendation. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much, Ben. Appreciate it. Moving on to number, as stated before, we did remove 15 from the agenda. We're moving on to 16 at this time. Professional Services Amendment with Land Logistics for Planning Consulting Services, presented by Terrell. You're busy today.
I am busy today.
All right, thank you.
So before you this evening is an extension of the contract for Land Logistics. Land Logistics was hired by the city in July to manage the Development Services Department while we're short-staffed. So it's Brian Millar. Brian Millar couldn't be here tonight. But so the areas of responsibility for development services is city planning and zoning, building inspections, code enforcement, and housing and CDBG. So this is the way the current department is structured. They have a total of 9 full-time equivalent employees. Currently, we're missing 3, actually all the planning staff, and that's where Brian and his land logistics team is helping us out. So the recruitments for the Development Services Director, the recruitment is currently open and it closes on November 29th. Our planning manager position is on hold pending the hiring of the director, and the new assistant planner should be starting in early January. So they are working on several major projects. The Bridge Street Service, Holiday Inn Express, Feather River Mills, Harder North, Dollar General Store, and the AT&T Monopole. And they're currently working on the Bogue Stewart Master Plan, and they have several commercial projects they're moving forward. This is all in addition to the regular day-to-day business that happens with code enforcement and building inspection, and which is all the areas that Mr. Millar is taking care of, along with housing. And so the current cost for the consultants can be covered by the vacant position salary savings. And once the positions are being hired, Land Logistics will be phased out as soon as we don't need the positions hired anymore. So our recommendation is to authorize the city manager to amend the existing professional service agreement between the City of Yuba City and Land Logistics after approval from the city attorney or as to form, and increase the contract amount from $75,000 to up to $261,400. Might not be that much once we get our staff on board, but this just takes us to that period of time. And with the finding that it's the best interest of the city. Take any questions, or Diana will. So.
Thank you, Terrell. Any questions from up here? Any member of the public care to comment? All right.
I move to authorize the city manager to amend the existing professional services agreement between the City of Yuba City and Land Logistics of Yuba City to increase the contract amount from $75,000 to up to $261,400 with the findings that it's the best interest of the city.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you very much, Terrell. All right, moving on to number 17, Veterans Memorial Park.
We're saving the best for last.
Yes.
And so we have a Veterans Memorial Park. It is a less than an acre located at the foot of the 5th Street Bridge. It was dedicated in 1922 in the memory of 11 Sutter County servicemen who perished in World War I. Here's the plaque that was done. We still have it, even though the bridge was, it was kind of the wall was taken down in order to do the bridge, but we do have the original plaque. So during the flood in 1955, the area got flooded, and in 1958, it was reconstructed and rededicated in 2004, and we added a monument and a flagpole. And if you can see down in here, it also mentions that Bob Barkhouse was mayor at that time, so he was on the rededication of the memorial park. And so the proposal is to rename the Veterans Memorial Park to the Bob Barkhouse Veterans Memorial Park in honor of Mayor Barkhouse. And Mr. Barkhouse served on the city council from 1990 to 2004, and he served as mayor 3 times, the 1991 to 92, 1998 to 1999, and 2002 to 2003. I'd like to recognize Mrs. Gail Barkhouse, who's currently in the audience. And Mr. Barkhouse had a passion for the 5th Street Bridge as well as the Yuba City region. And he was a member of the U.S. Navy and a proud veteran. And one of the main reasons that we are having a new 5th Street Bridge is because of the early efforts of Mr. Bob Barkhouse. And so in that regard, it is sounds very reasonable to rename the Veterans Memorial Park to the Bob Barkhouse Veterans Memorial Park.
All right, thank you very much, Tara.
Presentation.
Having had the pleasure of knowing Bob and Gail, what a wonderful couple, what a wonderful man. It's very apropos to honor that park with Bob's name. And I think every veteran that has served before and after him would concur. The level of service he provided our country, this level of service he provided our city, is beyond. I mean, the number of things would take you an entire book or several to fill the contributions Bob made and will continue to make in all of our hearts and minds if we show respect to him by paying it forward. What a wonderful man and a mentor. And it is with pleasure that I would be voting an emphatic yes on honoring his memory and all the other folks that here served with by renaming the park in his name. Comment?
I agree with you, Mayor. I don't know if Gail would like to say anything at this time. If you would like to take the opportunity to say anything, Gail.
If
you feel.
Gail, thank you. And you know what? It doesn't take words. We can see it and we can feel it. It's the right thing to do, and we're happy to do it. And with that, I move to approve.
Actually, through the mayor.
Yes, sir.
Before I second that.
Yes.
Say a few words as well.
I'm sorry. I thought you were good. Please do.
I only had the pleasure of knowing Bob since he came into office and through the community. But I have the same sentiment. He was a force to be reckoned with. He had a heart for this community. And what we're doing truly is symbolic. As a veteran, to take someone that poured into this community, because as many other people tried to, say that, they had a part in that bridge, it all started with Bob and a phone call and a visit to an office. And that's Bob. He cared about this community, and he was a veteran, and he cared about everyone here, including the veterans. I want to go back to the groups that was here earlier, because I've seen the current condition of the park. And I want to not only second, but I want to issue a challenge, because they keep picking up and doing things in the community. But I think that we need to ask those groups, they ask, what can we ask for them from a city? I think we need to reach out to them and help us honor the man that loved this community, not only with renaming it, but once the bridge is finished, get all these groups out there and let's beautify that project. Let's make Bob proud. And with that, I will gladly second your motion.
Very well. All those in favor?
Through the mayor.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I do want to clarify Councilmember Shaw's comments. There is an architect who has already taken it upon themselves to redesign the park, and we believe for $80,000 it couldn't be done. So we'll be looking for volunteers and money to do this completely outside of the city's general fund, but there is a beautiful architectural plan that is in the sort of beginning stages, and we will be seeking help from the community to beautify and remodel, if you will, that park.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Through the mayor, if you have an opportunity to allow the public to speak.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the public like to say anything? All right. Anybody from up front like to say anything?
I was going to say it's a great honor to be able to say yes here.
All right, very good. We have a motion to approve and second renaming Veterans Memorial Park the Bob Barkhouse Veterans Memorial Park. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. And I'm not going to even ask for opposed. I know the answer. Okay, very welcome. Thank you. A done deal. Moving on right now to records and communications. Excuse me. City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. A couple of quick items. On November 13th, next Wednesday at 6 p.m., there is a Planning Commission meeting. That meeting will be to discuss the Bogue Stewart Master Plan. There is a joint City Council Planning Commission workshop on November 26th at 5 p.m. here in the council chambers to discuss the Harder Specific Plan and the strategic goals of the City Council and the working relationship between the City Council and the Planning Commission. There is a special City Council meeting on December 2nd to discuss development impact fees and the growth policies of the city. That will be at the Sutter Yuba Association of Realtors office on 1558 Star Drive at 4 p.m. on December 2nd. Also, the Senior Commission is hosting the Senior Resource Fair at the Senior Center this Thursday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. The new Happy Park Playground project has been started with the equipment being demolished.
Demoed.
I'm just reading it, the last couple of weeks, and the installation of the new equipment will begin next week. The new Civic Center field will be open and available at the end of next week. And apparently a family has been reunited with their dog that's been missing for 1.5 years, thanks to the microchip process. The dog was in Arizona somewhere and brought back to Yuba City to be reunited with their family. So sort of an incredible story. So microchip your animals, please. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Boomgarden would normally be up, but he was called away this evening for a work obligation. We'll move on to Councilmember Espandola.
Well, after our city manager is talking about getting a chip in your animal, I think I'm going to be doing that for my doggie. Wow, what an incredible story to share. And anyhow, so many of these activities that I participated in the last several weeks, I share with our colleagues up here. So some of them may be redundant, but I'm just going to give you my perspective and the areas that, insights that I'm learning along the way. One of the things in the work as we do together is the homelessness, and that issue comes up all the time. Economic development is another big topic that constantly seeming to occur in conversations. A few weeks ago, we attended in Long Beach the annual League of Cities conference. So I attended 2 workshops, mostly focusing on homelessness and economic development, and one of them was on manufacturing and planning, where cities give examples of what they do in their communities and the importance of manufacturing and pulling in local businesses and allowing the planning discussions to be done in open, transparent ways. The other most recent news, I'm sure many people have heard, and this I think is a great economic development engine in our communities, the Hard Rock Hotel Casino opened. And this was a great opportunity for many of us that attended. The interesting part, personally for me, I was invited to be in a conversation with the Enterprise Rancheria, the chairwoman Glenda Nielsen, and her council with Lieutenant Governor Eleni, I can never say her last name, is Konolokis, and the president, Mark Bretha. The conversation was about the whole process, how long it took. It was over 17 years, how this development was over $470 million. And the thing that is most impressive in all of it, pretty much the whole project is, but the jobs that are brought to this community. So it's about 1,300 jobs. 70% of them are from local areas, Yuba City. These jobs are about 910 jobs with really good paying and benefits. So this will help our economy, I believe. Another nice celebration that we did was with our board and commissioners, and I have to thank Terrell and Trish and Judy. They put together this really nice dinner for us, and it was an opportunity for us to come together with our commissioners and our board and have a kind of get to know each other, and it was really nice. On another area is transportation and roads. I'm not often on attending the Sacramento Area Council of Governments. Our mayor and councilman Boomgarden go to these committee meetings mostly. But when these opportunities do come up, I take up the offer to attend because I want to learn about how to become more aware about transportation, infrastructure, and networking regionally, because the roads travel from lots of directions, as we know with the Fifth Street Bridge and, former Mayor Barkhouse, that launching this 20 plus years ago to finally being built in a time frame. That what I learned the most out of this forum is that I heard a statement that really caught on, and the statement was that that we have inherited a legacy of transportation in our communities as elected officials. And so at many times people will question and ask, why is it this way? Why does that road go there? Or wouldn't it have made better sense to do it this way? And the answer is what I just quoted. The last part of it is quality of life and economic prosperity. I was invited to the Diwali celebration, which was through the Hindi temple. It was a neat celebration, a lot of good food, community. Then our sister city was here, so greeted them. That was fun. Many of us, as we all know, the Sikh Festival and Parade, a huge community event, and what a neat honor to be part of that. So we all received acknowledgments in this, and really for them to be here today and pray as we begin, prior to beginning our full council, says a lot about our community. So those are a few things that in the last several weeks been working in part of the community and traveling. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As it was said, we attended the League of California Cities. Found it interesting and beneficial as well. I focused my efforts there on economic development for our area here, and trying to figure out ways that we can attract more businesses, and actually spent some time with many of the developers and the booths that were there, and personally extending an invitation to them to take another look at Yuba City. We are open for business, and we want to be business friendly. Had some great conversations there, and really hope that begins to take flight to where we can get other developments and such to look into Yuba City, because we do need housing of all shapes and sizes. We need affordable and we need high end. It's not one without the other. This community just ground itself to a halt over the past several years, and we missed the last boom. So we have to get the numbers back up to where we have more housing starts. We've got the projects in the pipeline. We've been working hard for the last 11 months. You're starting to see some things be talked about and kind of come together. And I think it's because this council's attitude has been not just to say no, but how can we get to yes? We got to figure this out. And I think that's empowered our team, because we don't do it here. But Ms. Langley, Mr. Moody, our city manager, all the ones through City Hall that meet with everyone. And we're trying to figure out how to get to yes to make the city grow. We have to get economic growth going here. Hot off the heels of that, back into Yuba City, we did have the Sister City visit this past week. I was pretty well consumed with that. For those of you that's not familiar with the Sister City, a lot of people think that it's about economic growth and sharing ideas of how we, drum up business. It's really not meant for that. It's about cultural exchange. It's about getting to know a city on the other side of the world and sharing things. It started with President, I believe it was Hoover, if I'm not mistaken, is the one that put the challenge out. But anyway, saying that, my family and I hosted one of the delegates and ran around with the delegate the whole week. But we also had the opportunity to host the entire delegation to a good old-fashioned country western barbecue. It's one of those things that started with an idea from our house guest. That was what he wrote. He would like a barbecue. Started with 10. Next thing you know, we're at about 30. I reached out to the Handies, which Jerry was here earlier, and they offered to let us use their place and said, we can get 40, 45. The next thing I know, I get a count that we got 59 coming. And then by the time the night was over, we were pushing 70. The Handies were very gracious. And I will tell you now, the best part of that was watching our sister city come to America and experience something that's what we're about here. We're not a metropolis. We're not San Francisco. We're not Los Angeles. We have farms. We're down home. We actually appreciate hanging out together. And I tell you, we saw smiles around, and we're getting pictures to the city so that, Spencer, you're in the back. Thank you for everything. Spencer, you did a great job. We had dinners with them, toured around. It was great understanding Torrey City in relation to Yuba City. Again, it's about cultural exchange. Ended up the week with the Sick Festival, and that is amazing. It's a true blessing for this community. They are some incredible members of our community, and very honored to be asked to be there and be a part. And what they give back is pretty amazing. So, just want to say thank you to all the leadership of the temple for including the city and including myself and the rest of the council. It was a great honor, and looking forward to next year. Coming up, we have the PERS workshop in a couple of weeks, where we're going to be talking about solutions to the problems. This is our 5th of 6 meetings. So we figure out what can we do, if anything. And so bring your ideas and we'll figure out what we can do. So we've got to come up with something, because PERS is unsustainable where it's at, and we know that. So we've got to see what we can do. And other than that, I'm done, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Welcome.
We're going to probably do some repeating, but I had a pretty busy couple of weeks. I'm going to start off with meetings. I attended the Regional Housing Authority meeting, our Yuba City Transit Authority, and attended the Yuba City's Economic Development Commission. We have 2 brand new commissioners. Watched the swearing in with the mayor. Bounced into chamber events, attended the ambassadors meeting, had a few ribbon cuttings. We'll start with the Mercs. This is a very special one. I know the mayor and I were there. It's Phoenix Ridge. These folks moved here from Paradise. They lost everything, and they settled in our community, and they have a t-shirt print shop and sign shop, and they've been here for a year, and they're doing very well, and we're very happy that they picked our community, and business is doing very well for them. Attended Biologies this morning. Attended the 10-year milestone for Rolling Stone Pizza. He's been in business for 10 years, so we had a little celebration for him. Business After Hours was hosted by La Tip of Yuba City. It was at the Tea Garden House. And then the Business Connections Breakfast was hosted by Adventist Health with guest speaker Rick Rawson. For city events and community, we'll start with the city. I attended the Youth Commission's Harvest Festival, a lot of Halloween stuff. The Yuba City Police Department's Trick or Treat Open House. The Senior Center's Waffle Wednesday. Anybody wants waffles? The last Wednesday of the month. Senior Center is wonderful. We're getting bigger and badder every month. And as was said before, we had the Yuba City Appreciation Dinner for the boards and commissions. The Sister City 30-year anniversary. The welcome ceremony, the mayor's reception and welcome dinner and closing ceremony. Of course, the Hard Rock Casino VIP grand opening. Our 40th year anniversary of the Sikh parade and ceremony. I had the honors of walking with the elders for the parade. It took us 2 hours to make it from the temple to Butte House, and then it took us 2 hours to walk the rest of the way around. It wasn't too bad, but that first mile and a half was pretty hard. Had a great time, a great honor walking with the elders. I was on the panel for Freed, and this was for the Yuba Center Aging and Disability Conference. I was on the panel with James Gallagher, Supervisor Matt Connick, and Mike Leahy of Yuba County, trying to help the what we can do in our community for the aging and disability, bringing in thoughts. James is more or less the guest speaker. He's one that really had all the things going, because mainly a lot of the stuff comes from the state, and the counties and cities get the stuff from him, and what makes this possible for our community. Yesterday, the mayor and I, we went to a forum up in Orville, hosted by Assemblyman James Gallagher, discussing the impacts of the homeless on our North State. That was very informative. Met the mayor of San Diego. That guy can do many things. He was very impressive. I learned a lot of stuff from him. I attended a swearing-in ceremony for Karen Ramey. She's our new Yuba City postmaster. She is the 11th postmaster since 1942 for our Yuba City post office. So that was a great ceremony there. Attended the Sutter County Superintendent of Schools grand opening for their advanced culinary and manufacturing trailers. The superintendent of schools have 2 beautiful trailers that they can transport to the cities, to the schools, state-of-the-art kitchen, and then welding, and the other as welding and machine shop type setup. They go to the schools. Went to the Back of the Badge fundraiser for Officer Gordon, and I understand he's doing much better these days. I volunteered for the Morris Foundation 10th Annual California Beer and Wine Festival. That was a beautiful day on Plume Street. Couldn't ask for a better day. I attended Yuba City Downtown Business Association's Party in Pink. That was fun. The Day of the Dead celebration, I'm just going to say it in American instead of Spanish because I was going to butcher it, did the annual event for the Yuba Center Art Center in Marysville, and also for the Yuba City Mall for the Alliance for the Hispanic Advancement. And then in closing, well, not quite closing, I attended the Community Heroes Awards dinner out at Peachtree Country Club with the mayor and Councilman Boomgarden. And in closing, I did the volunteered for the United Way Spectacular River Run. I was kind of watching the course for Mr. Harlan there. So that's it for me. Had a busy couple of weeks. Thank you.
All right, thank you. One of the many good things about being elected to serve our community is that you get to attend events representing our city. And I got to tell you, one thing that occurred to me, one of the things I appreciate is our diversity. We saw not only the spirit of our residents, we saw that earlier today with the volunteer folks that are here, but literally in the course of 1 month, we had Dia de los Muertos, which is from Mexico. We had a delegation from Japan visit. We got to enjoy them and their culture. We enjoyed the Sikh parade, and all of and the culture was abound, along with our American of Halloween traditions. Four major things in 1 month. And some of those, two of them at least, are unique to our area. And I think that's really special. And I'm proud about that. Backing up to the League of California Cities Conference, my role is to be a voting delegate. So in addition to the breakout sessions, I was responsible for attending a few meetings about the two resolutions this year. One was to allow ratepayer funding of undergrounding of utilities in areas of high fire danger. So there are certain restrictions in place now to where those that can only kick in with criteria of next to a, say, arterial roadway or other criteria that involves a lot of people. But there are a lot of areas that might not be as high as profile, but they're just as dangerous, in danger of being subject to wildfire. So that resolution, happened to be, the resolution was returned back to committee for their January meeting. However, due to the timing, it will not delay any action as far as the league is concerned, because they're already working on the project. Another one we did vote on and went past unanimously was something a little bit far away, but nevertheless in California, the addressing international transboundary pollution flows. I happen to live down in Imperial County briefly back in 1995, 96, and within a couple hundred yards of one of the most polluted rivers in the country, the New River. And there's also one down in San Diego in the Tijuana River watershed where, I mean, there's anything you can think of. I mean, sometimes the river was even foaming. It was so full of nonsense, not in addition to the obvious guess, which is BS, raw sewage, flowing from Mexico right into California. And so the league has taken action or passed a resolution calling for federal and state governments to restore and ensure proper funding for environmental infrastructure on the U.S.-Mexican border. So that's basically what was my major role down there, voting on that and attending those meetings. Let's see here. I am on the Arts Council Board. We did have a celebration of Dia de los Muertos, like I mentioned. That was always a fun time. Several other projects in the works that we're moving forward with. They're going to be very high profile and very add a lot of great deal of benefit to our community. As already mentioned by Mr. Cardozo, Community Hero Award, hosted by Results Radio. I think there was 12 awardees in our community and the region recognized for their efforts. A lot of those surrounding efforts and heroism that took place following and during the campfire. I met with Virgil, who spoke today regarding the city's, or a program that the city is involved with called Launch, which is a youth mentorship program. And I believe we're going to put them on, that's going to be on the Just Serve website. So that'll provide a good opportunity for folks to step up and help out our young people. Again, Hard Rock Casino and Hotel opening, which is a phenomenal facility, and we welcome them into our fold. Regarding SACOG, we attended in addition to the board meeting, the Regional Futures Forum, which is discussing different things. We had a speaker from Colorado, the mayor there. She talked about how they transformed a really small town. I'm drawing a blank on the name of that town, into a really good and vibrant economic. Lone Tree, that's it. I should have remembered that. Lone Tree, Colorado. A vibrant community. Some of her techniques she used, I think they do have the benefit of being a very wealthy community, which is always nice. It always comes down to this stuff. I think their median household, I think she said, was $800,000 for a median in that small town. However, it was still interesting to hear her. I did speak, of course, SACOG revolves, there's a lot of focus on transportation. I spoke with a representative of those Lime scooters. You've seen those little things? You can pay for it with an app. They had an interest in talking further about perhaps bringing those to Yuba City, which is interesting. Let's see here. Also, during a SACOG board meeting, a lot of routine things, a lot of housekeeping things, but one of the major presentations we had was from the mayor of Paradise. She went through a lot of things that they talked about as far as disaster preparedness and fire protection, not only during and after the campfire, but what they did before, and some efforts that she put into place, not the least of which involved contraflow, which I have an interest in finding more about that because I tend to be against it. But she acknowledged that had they not done some of that pre-planning, more people, particularly up in the Gailey area, would have died. And so, of course, that got my attention. And I have since directed our city manager to schedule a meeting between myself and him and our new OES director for Sutter County so we can begin some discussions and revamping and renewing and revitalizing our disaster preparedness plan for our community, not only for fire, but for flood situation. A lot of it would be evacuation, notification routes. And not only that, some consideration perhaps in place if they have a community near here and they need to evacuate. Maybe we don't, but something we can do ahead of time to facilitate their evacuation through here if they're going somewhere else. So it's smoother and primarily safer. As Vice Mayor Cardoza mentioned, attended the Homelessness Community Resource Forum hosted by Assemblyman Gallagher, Senator Nielsen, and Congressman LaMalfa up in Oroville yesterday. It was very informative, particularly some of my takeaways was from Mayor Falconer of San Diego. A couple of things he brought up were that he has 3 bridge shelters. Actually, there's a 4th that literally opened today. They call it bridge shelters. It's not under a bridge, but it's kind of a metaphor for bridging the gap between homelessness and being in a shelter. So they have those. It does come down to funding. They don't allow tents. They have another one would be storage centers. Folks who have personal property, they don't give them 3 days, 30 days to remove their property. They give them a matter of, I think it was 3 hours. Once it's tagged, 3 hours later, you don't take it, we'll leave you a little note saying we have it, and then they have a place where they store it for free, and that gets the stuff off the street. They also have safe parking lots where some folks, they're literally and unfortunately living in their vehicle, to include children, or RV, and they have parking lots where they can come and they can park and they're safe, and you can do this. And it's not a forever thing, but they have a way to, this is where you go. You can't just scatter about in every nook and cranny of our city. This is where you go if you're living in your car, and every one of those locations have services available to them for outreach to try to get them moved on out of the homelessness situation. So that is what I've chosen to speak about. I could go on. I'm sure we all could. We do a lot of things. It's an honor to serve and be a part of all those things and represent all of you. And we're looking forward to more. It's a very busy time, but that would be it. And unless there's anything else, I will adjourn the meeting for tonight. And we'll see you all next time. All right. Thank you.